Here with Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the 2024 Cars Tour announcement. Dale, you kind of foreshadowed to me a little bit at Florence a couple weeks ago that you'd be running the Darlington weekend Labor Day late model race at Florence, and now we know that that's going to be a Cars Tour sanctioned event, along with Tri-County being Coke 600 weekend here. When you guys were putting together the schedule, how much was correlating with NASCAR a big part of it?
It was very important. We want to try to present opportunities for truck, Xfinity, and Cup drivers to come compete with us as often as possible. That's not always as easy as it sounds, because even when we're trying to race on a weekend very close to a Cup race, there's always a practice or something that's going to eliminate a series or two from being able to come compete with us. But yeah, we want to make create those opportunities when we can. So I think that was probably in the top 3 important things that we kept in mind when creating the schedule.
With this new ownership group, you, Justin, Dale, and Jeff, what's been your favorite part of working with that group so far the first season of this Cars Tour thing?
I think, it's every one of the guys in the group has brought a different expertise. Justin is a very marketing savvy, creating logos and thinking about how to raise, improve the brand and make it stronger. I don't have that intuition, and so I think that everybody brings a certain expertise and ability to help. Harvick is his value is priceless because he's sharp, aggressive, and he knows more about grassroots racing on a national scale probably than I do, having raced out in the Southwest and all of the super late model racing he did on the West Coast before he became a Cup Series regular. Everything he's doing with his son now through the Legends cars, and he goes to all these racetracks and sees everything going on across the Southeast. And so I'll have an opinion that's very rooted in a late model stock frame of mind, and he'll have an opinion that's kind of looking at it from a larger national picture, and he knows what a lot of other people are doing in different parts of the country that could shape my opinion a little bit. So I don't know, I've enjoyed it. I know Jeff really well, working with him in the broadcast booth, and he's pretty easy. He's always kind of the one, he's the voice of reason, if you will, in the conversation. I'm very emotional, and Harvick can get wound up, and Jeff's kind of the one that says, all right, guys, we need to really let's get back down to earth here and think about this. And it's a very easy solution when it comes to Burton, so he's pretty sharp.
One more question. Obviously, you played a very big role in cleaning up North Wilkesboro Speedway and then working with Marcus Smith a little bit to get that track back going, and now it's on the NASCAR schedule, hosting the All-Star race and Cars Tour events. Now that it's hosting a championship event, how special is it for you to be a part of that whole process from really the beginning of restoring the track to now holding a championship event?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, to be honest with you, and sometimes you forget about that path and that whole story. And I kind of lose sight of, the day we were out there with the weed eaters, and never even knowing, even in that moment, what was possible for the racetrack. So I guess too, even though things like that come back, like everything else in life, it's still fragile, right? And you still want to protect it, and you still want to shelter it and sustain it. And so the Cars Tour is thankful to be able to be a part of the new chapter at the racetrack at North Wilkesboro. We hope that people will come out and see us compete, and hopefully we've made some good choices by finishing our season there and having a season finale at that racetrack. But I know we'll have a great week during the All-Star because it's NASCAR's in town, and we'll get a big pop from that. But Marcus wants the facility to be a very big part of the Cars Tour, and I think that he's committed to aligning with us by allowing us to come race there twice a year. He'd have us there more, I think, if we could get there more. But and then with the Z-Max partnership, he continues to sort of weave himself into the fabric of the series. So I'm excited for Marcus to learn a ton about the Cars Tour this year.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'll be at a lot of races. Yeah. I got more time now.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. Obviously, all four of you guys in the ownership group have worked really well hand in hand together with this series over the first year. When it came to building the schedule, how much was there communication between all four of you, and what was your favorite part of it?
Yeah, I think for me, the schedule building process definitely took a lot of time, just because of the fact that there were new racetrack with bringing Orange County back. You had some goals of ending the season a little bit earlier to be able to kind of give the late model stock competitors a breath before they went to the end of the year to run Hickory and Florence and Southern National, the big races at the end of the year, instead of stacking the end of our season right on top of those three races. With Marcus and the SMI group wanting to kind of have a short track showcase at the end of the year at North Wilkesboro really allowed us to have just a really high-end marquee racetrack to end our season. And the rest of it, we didn't want to change a lot. We're taking advantage of Darlington and running our cars on Friday night, before the Southern 500. And so just trying to clean things up a little bit, starting off at Southern National with their speed weeks. That's kind of the way we've done it. We did it this year. So it all kind of came together, but I think with everybody's ideas and it all fell into place and worked out.
I noticed specifically with the Florence date and Tri-County being Coke 600 weekend as well. Was that something strategic that you guys did to try to get more hand-in-hand with NASCAR? And is that something you want to do more of in the future, with maybe like a Kingsport in Bristol or something like that?
Well, we communicate a lot with NASCAR. Obviously, the NASCAR grassroots program does a great job of helping us promote. Jim France and everybody at the top is very supportive of everything that we've been doing to try to help late model stock racing and short track grassroots racing in general. So we definitely, we've had NASCAR people sit in our meetings. We've sat in some of theirs, and I think that communication for late model stock racing is important.
And one more question. You're probably tired of answering this, but if you had the opportunity to just pick one of these races on the schedule to run for yourself, what would you pick?
Gosh, that's a tough question. I did the North Wilkesboro stuff last year. I enjoy watching our cars run. I enjoy watching our races run and watching from afar because I enjoy the teaching and learning aspect of it, because it's so much different than the driving aspect of it. I've never raced at many of the racetracks on the schedule, but those first 5 races at the beginning of the season are always pretty competitive, and gosh, I don't know that I can narrow it down to just one. I've driven some laps around Florence in the Legend car with Keelan, and that was pretty enjoyable, and I know how much Dale likes to race at Florence, so maybe it'd be fun for us both to race there.
Thank you. Here with Jeff Burton at the 2024 Cars Tour season announcement. Jeff, obviously you, Justin, Dale, and Kevin have worked hand in hand a lot on this whole series in your first year together. So far, what's been your favorite part of the new ownership group with this series?
The conversation, the challenge of thought. I love that. I love being challenged. I love a good debate, and just all the different perspectives. We all come at it from different points of view. I had worked with Kevin when we were at RCR, so I knew how he was. I worked with Junior at NBC. I knew how he was. I did know Justin. Having him come on board is just, he thinks completely about things that I would never think about, and I think that's really, really smart for us to have a guy like him. So it's just that the conversations, the debate, the discussions, that's been really enjoyable.
When you guys were building this schedule, obviously what stood out, the North Wilkesboro date, the Orange County date, but another thing I noticed was the correlation with NASCAR at both Tri-County in May and especially at Florence in August when Southern 500 weekend is in Darlington. From your standpoint, how important is it to work with NASCAR to not only bring the car count up, but the fan count as well in the grandstands?
Oh, it's huge. NASCAR's been a great partner with the Cars Tour. They've been great to work with, and we all want to build grassroots racing. We want to be able to have a race. People come from the big track to see our guys compete. We want them to do both. We don't want them to do either or. We want them to do both. And having some races where we can do that is really important. And you never know who's going to show up and run those races too. I mean, we have a lot of guys that express interest in running these races, and we want that. We want some of the guys to come in and race because Kyle Larson he came and ran a race with us, and it was great information that he gave us back, and it makes us better. So it's real important for us to expose ourselves to things that they can come back and say, hey, I like this, but I didn't like that. I think it's really smart for us to do that.
And now that we have the schedule, is there any other tracks in the future that maybe you guys wanted to get on the schedule this year, or you couldn't, and you just hope to maybe get to in the future?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's certainly some ideas that we have that we're not going to do everything in 1 year, and there's certainly some ideas we have that we think would make the series that much better, pros and late model stocks. But we just couldn't get we love this schedule, but we have to be willing to always look and say, okay, what can we do different? What can we do better? What works for, and we need to be good partners to the racetracks. We need healthy racetracks. I had the great fortune of spending some time with Bill Jr. Fishing, spent many days in the back of a fishing boat. And one of the things that he told me, he said, you have to have tires, you have to have racetracks, you have to have owners. If you don't have those three things, you can't have races. And we have to have racetracks to race on. We need healthy short tracks, and any way we can help do that, we need to.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
As an owner in the car store and an owner in the Cup Series, how much do you view this series as an opportunity to get your guys into more time in a race car and some other guys in a developmental role if you wanted to run a Trackhouse late model?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity because now Trackhouse has touch points in all different kinds of racing. And like I was just telling Matt, we're bringing an Australian over next year to go NASCAR racing that's only been on an oval track one time in his life. And so, it's important to give guys like that an opportunity in late model racing because it's some of the toughest and most competitive and best racing that there is in the country. And it's throwing them in the deep end of the pool right away. And I think there's a lot of value and importance in that. So being involved in the Cars Tour gives us the opportunity to start thinking about driver development and start kind of bringing some of our own guys through the system. So I just like that, now we have that tool in our war chest to be able to expand our operations.
And on that topic, with the schedule, there's two events specifically that stood out to me, both Tri-County in May and Florence in August, right when NASCAR's in Darlington. Those events like that directly correlate with NASCAR, was that something specifically that you liked about building the schedule so that your guys can compete in events like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're asking a lot of these race fans to all the different options that they have for watching racing, and one of the core tenets of the Cars Tour is to bring some star power in to get eyeballs on it, but then also amplify our full-time guys. And if there's a local crowd that's in town for a NASCAR race that can come over and watch a short track race, all the better. And then getting Cup guys in it, just like, again, it amplifies it. It's more eyeballs on the Cars Tour. You see what happens when Dale Jr. drives in it and Kevin and all that. So there's a lot of excitement. And then if in those moments our full-time guys can really shine and we can show the larger motorsports fan base the talent that we have in the series full-time, it works well for everybody.
And one more question. Obviously, Daniel ran I believe it was a Trackhouse late model at North Wilkesboro in May. Would you ever want to get behind the wheel of a Cars Tour late model?
Maybe. I mean, I've done a couple of late model races in my life, and it's a little. I'm a little out over my skis when I do it, just because I don't have the experience doing it. But it's a lot of fun, but right now my day job is keeping me out of the car a lot. So I say never, but it's also fun for me to just watch it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jared Haas with FrontStretch.com. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check one of those two videos out that we have right beside you. Visit FrontStretch.com for more great content.